Good morning. I'm Melissa Higginbotham, and I wanted to have a conversation with you today about an issue that constantly comes up for me. Well, it has for quite a while, and that's the subject of mindfulness. You know, the first thing you think of in mindfulness is the word mindful. What is your mind full of? Are you trying to do your work? You're thinking about picking up the kids, what you're going to have for dinner, what you're reading, all the appointments you have that day. And what that happens is when your mind is so full of what you're going to do, which means then you're putting your energy in the future, or you may be thinking about all the things that have happened and the regrets you have. Well, your mind's in the past. So all your energy, because your mind is all full of the stuff that has nothing to do with what you're doing now, your energy's gone. You're sending your energy in the future, you're sending your energy in the past. And as a result, you have no energy for you in this moment. Now, being mindful, the other facet of mindfulness is to be able to expand that space and be aware in the moment. And it's a lesson I get to learn over and over again. I mean, I grew up on a farm, and we were always using knives, whether it was canning, cutting vegetables, or whatever. We grew up using paring knives. And then all of a sudden, I started cutting myself in the kitchen. And it got to the point where one day my husband came in and he handed me a can of Band-Aids for the kitchen. Because it used to be in the bathroom, and you know, that's where you keep Band-Aids, in the medicine cabinet, right? But I was cutting myself so frequently. And so what I had to do is try to slow down not only my mental processes, but the body. I was bumping in the walls because it was like I was getting ahead of myself. I wanted to get somewhere fast. It's like I couldn't slow myself down. My mind was always thinking, multitasking, thinking of all different things, juggling things in my mind. And that's not a way to live. I bump in the walls. You find you have no time for family, for friends, because your mind is always somewhere else. And so there were a couple things that I had to start reminding myself of. One was to just imagine that you have this part of your energy form is outside your head. So I would consciously just imagine bringing this other me down and putting the feet into the feet, making sure that my feet were my feet and my hands were my hands. And that was one of the first steps towards being able to really feel what my body was doing. So that when I was very careful then, let's say I went outside and I was walking on broken ground meaning, holes, mud, grass, rocks, and if you're not aware in the moment, if you're not being mindful in the moment, it's very easy to do things like turn your ankles, step in holes. And so learning to do like the first peoples always talked about walking gently on the earth. Can you walk undisturbed? And practicing taking careful steps when I walk out, walking deliberately. If you were your greater self, if you were, if you weren't just the person you are now, but you could feel yourself expanded as the greater being you are at that moment, how would you walk? How would you walk gracefully? That full of grace where you feel your head held high and your body straight, and listening to everything and feeling what you're doing. Being mindful in the moment. When I go into the kitchen now, and I like to make soup every week. We go to the farmer's market and we'll get lots of vegetables, and I'll think, what kind of soup do I want to make? And of course the soup, I don't like to use a food chopper, mainly because I have to get into the cupboard, get it out, put all the parts together, and so I go back to my old trusty knife and chopping board. But what I've taught myself to do was in the moment is to take a deep breath and just kind of settle myself down. You can sometimes when you're getting that rush, you can feel your energy up here in the head. And it's just breathing down and breathing down through your feet. And you know, it's like being a tree and letting the roots go down, and just taking a few of those breaths. And then you lift up the knife and use it to chop. Now, mindfulness also extends into other areas of your life. I had a friend one time that said, Missy, you need to, when you go to a subway or metro station, or you go to a bus station, or you know, you're just waiting around somewhere, be mindful where you're waiting. So before you decide to go to this spot or go to that spot, just take a moment and breathe and feel, which one are you attracted to? Which one will be safe for you? And then you can make that choice instead of just kind of going anywhere and perhaps being caught up by random events. So mindfulness helps keep you safe. Another way of mindfulness is those decision points. You know, when you come out of a building, for example, and you can decide to go down this sidewalk or that sidewalk. Take a moment and breathe, and then make your choice, because you're going to meet different people. You're going to see different buildings. You're going to, being an energetic being, you are also going to be laying some type of energetic line just by who you are. And by each choice you make, it opens a different line of probability. And you always want to open the highest probability you can. What's that heroic path? You know, if I start out the day with, I am my heroic path now, and you call divine right order into you and into all the events of your life. You know, I now call divine right order into my life this moment. And I accept that now. I choose divine right order in my life. Then you come from that space of divine right order. And then when you do, and you're mindful of that, when you go about your day, then the choices you make are the choices you feel you should make, because sometimes you're attracted to choices and you might not take the one that you have a pull towards, because your mind gets in the way thinking, yeah, but this is prettier over here, but really the call is over here. And it's being aware and going with that, say, is this divine right order in the moment now? And if you get confused and you're not sure, it's taking a moment and breathing, and I choose divine right order, and then go with where it pulls you, because that's where your heroic path is. Each moment is a moment of choice. And choice is an act of power. And if I let someone else choose, I have just given my power away. There's such power in choice. And it's being mindful in the moment that you are a powerful being, that you are on your own heroic path. And what is a heroic path? It's that highest path. Some people might call it a path of ascension. Some people might call it the path back to source. It might just be what's the greatest service that you can do for all creation in this moment, in this lifetime. What you are here to do, perhaps the mission you are here to do. And the mission always is, how do you serve life through you as God's source?